Adventures of Life. I'm curious of the cost to dig a well in Tennessee. My parents had one dug in Florida. It was around $5,000. So, right here, we have a river right over there. It's called the Kentucky Lake, the biggest man-made body of water in the United States. I think it still is. So our water, when we cut the slab in the building, there used to be this was a nightclub and a bar and grill. So there was 4 big bathrooms. There was like 20 toilets in this place. And we knocked out a bunch of those bathrooms and those lines of toilets. So we put 2 bathrooms on this side, and then we used the rest of the room for 2 large storage rooms on the other side. So when we cut that up to put in the new plumbing in the ground where we wanted it, when they cut the slab, water shot up out of the ground this high. Because water's just flowing through, moving through the material, which is gravel. They call it chert. It's like clay and gravel here. So the water from the hill is moving downhill, probably under the building at some point, just, seeping through. So here, I don't think it would take much to drill a well right here. You dig a hole and you get it deep enough, water shows up here. Now, other parts of Tennessee, it just depends where you're at in Tennessee and what your material is made of. Our friend Joy just had a well dug. Do you remember what she said that cost?
And I don't.
I think it went deeper than they thought it had to go, though.
And she waited like 6 months to have
That's the big thing. We've had 2 well drilling companies, say they would come out here, and they haven't shown up. And we've talked to them multiple times over the last 2 years. Like, we talked to a dude in Kentucky that's supposed to be the dude. I got a friend's got a 1,000-acre farm, and he's got 15, 20 wells drilled on the property that he said, call this guy. They've never shown up here. Like, we are lacking. That is one thing. That's probably the prep. The guy that asked about the prep, that's the prep we really need that we don't have. Now, we have a lot of surface area, roof area, and we have outbuildings, and we can, we have all the hay barn and the rabbit shed and all that stuff. And that's all steel roofing. So we can gutter all of that and run it into collection tanks. Ooh, potential spam. See, this phone never rings inside.
702, that's a Las Vegas number.
It says Las Vegas. So, the real answer, I don't know what it costs here. It depends where here you are.
Do you know the difference in the wells? I just recently heard a podcast about, they were talking about like bore wells and like regular wells. Do you know anything about that? Because I don't know which one's cheaper. They said the regular well is like, it's a big hole. The bore well it's a small hole, but it goes super deep, and then it fills up, like the diameter of like a mason jar or something.
Well, I can tell you that nobody here is, the way they drill them is they use a pipe, maybe it's 4 inches or 6 inches, and it's got teeth on the end. And they drill it down, and then they undo it, and then they put another piece on.
Yeah, to keep going.
Yeah, and it keeps going down. So the only wells, and I've seen a couple dozen of them around being done, and looked at them up close, and they're only this big around.
Yeah, so I think that's the one that I never thought of. Like, because when I think of a well, I think like the pail that you dip in.
So those were old time wells, like Grandpa put those in.
Yeah,
and you can still do those. Those are the wells that like Timmy fell in, or
exactly.
Lassie, or
the
Village Idiot. You could throw a dead animal down in there and poison the whole town.
Yeah, that's true. I was curious if you knew which one was cheaper or better to have.
It's going to depend on where you are.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's coming and putting the other one in for you. I think that's you did that thing. Drive strength. Do I need to dump out my 55-gallon water drums during winter to avoid them freezing? Didn't know if freezing could crack them. I can tell you, and we should shoot some B-roll of this. I can tell you I have 275 gallons out here, 6 feet in the air. We cut rail ties in half and just, Lincoln log them. So mine's up here. It's at the top of the hill where wind whips across. It's filled with water. It's been filled with water for 6 years, and it's never damaged the IBC tote. It does break the adapter that I have on there that turns into a garden hose. We have had to replace that. But I have, a dozen 55-gallon drums on the backside over there filled with water, and we've never had one pop. We don't empty the aquaponics system. Mm-mm. It'll crack PVC pipe, but we don't ever empty them. And I mean, we're down to 0 here, and we've never had a problem here. Last winter we were cold here was probably 20, 23 degrees, sustained for 2-3 weeks. But we don't. No, we don't. I mean, unless you're someplace colder than we are, then that might change. But you'll find a ton of people telling you to do a lot of things on the internet, and what we find is they're just repeating shit somebody else told them. Everybody likes to post and say things because maybe they feel good because they, number one, maybe they were heard or they actually did benefit somebody. Everybody likes to be of use, right? But a lot of people post stuff and they don't have to have any qualification, right? Imagine if on the internet, imagine if there was a fine for being wrong, right? Imagine if you gave me information and it was wrong. I just got to take $25 out of your bank account. People would act differently. Things would change then. A good example is you always hear Cornish cross chickens have to be, you're supposed to slaughter them at 10 to 12 weeks. Most people do, and that gives you a chicken the size that you're used to getting from the grocery store, and a whole chicken. I've got Cornish crosses up there that are probably going on 6 months right now. They are literally bigger than some of my dogs. Mm-hmm. They're fucking this, like they come up, like I have a chicken, I have a bunch of roosters, and their heads are at my kneecap. They're huge. They waddle around. You hear that, you have to kill them because when it's hot, they'll have heart attacks. We were 105 degrees. We didn't have any heart attacks with our chickens. You hear that they grow so fast that their bones snap. I've heard that a lot. I've had people tell me that. None of these chickens have broken legs. They're just, like a bunch of these hens, because I didn't zip tie the chicken wire, some of them figured out how to get out. And when I was feeding other pens, some of them got in other pens. And in some of the other pens of chickens, I have Cornish crosses in there. And when I go in there, this thing, it pecks at me. It pecks at my ankle. It fucking hurts. But these birds are literally bigger than my turkeys right now. And that's just an example of what people on the internet tell you. You totally could drain those those 55-gallon drums out if you want to. You could totally take the water and use it, to water fruit trees with or something. Once a year, we pump out the aquaponics system just because we didn't paint it right, so it gets a lot of light through, so it grows, the water turns green. So we take that super nutrient fish shit full of water, and I pump it with a little submersible pump that we bought from Harbor Freight, and we water all the orchard out here with those IBC totes. But no, you don't. I don't think you need to. Follow up from statement about finding other ways to bring in money. Hypothetically, other than word of mouth, how would you again, hypothetically, advertise a cash-only service on social media to start a side gig? Well, let's start there, I guess. There's a lot more. Why are we doing cash only? It's going to have, cash only means cash has to come to you. A lot of people are not going to trust you to send cash through the mail. Here's another thing the internet will tell you. Oh, you want me to send you cash through the mail? That's illegal. It's not fucking illegal. The post office tells you you're a dumbass to do it. It's not fucking illegal. Look it up. Because we make people send us cash through the mail to cover shipping. And it happens all the fucking time. So if you're selling a product, a good, or a service, right, and you're unknown to your consumer, or how are they going to feel about sending you a $100 bill through the mail? The answer is I don't fucking know.
And why is Amazon so popular? Because it's convenient. The less convenient you are, the harder it's going to be to get customers.
Yeah, so we only took cash. We took cash or check, and you had to mail it to us back before there was internet. And to get a credit card processing service, you actually had to have credit, and I did not. I couldn't get one. And then it became easier. You didn't have to buy the machine, and now we just do it all on these things. I've got 6 different credit card merchants. The month that we started taking credit cards, we tripled sales, quadrupled sales. I mean, it was the first year we did $1 million in sales, and it happened to be the credit cards. The easier you make it for people to give you money, the more money they're going to give you. Now, I understand why you're asking the question. Go where those people are. When we do Self-Reliance Festival, constantly people are like, can I pay you in Bitcoin? can I pay you in gold? Can I pay you in silver? I have customers that walk in here and they're like, will you take silver? Yes, I will. What will you pay me for it? I'll give you spot rate. I'll pay you whatever current market value right now is. That's what I'll pay you. And some of them are like, well, I'll just pay cash then. And I get it. And depending if it's some silver, I like 10-ounce stacker bars. I love the Scottsdale 10-ounce stackers. If you walk in here, I'd probably pay you over spot just to have that and not do it in cash. So I have a Normatec machine with leg, arm, and groin attachment. It uses air and compression to stimulate blood flow as a post-workout recovery protocol. Local places charge like $45 a session, and you get to sit in an OK leather chair and just, oh, I know what he's talking about, one of those chairs like Jerry has. I have a man cave I rarely use and train at an MMA gym for a clientele base. I do understand I'm asking you on social media, but this is all hypothetical and always pay my taxes. Dude, I'm not concerned, Aaron, about having this conversation at all. Pay your taxes. Even if you're not going to pay your taxes, take 30% of every fucking dollar you make and put it in an account that says theft or IRS or whatever you want to call it. That's how they get a lot of people. They know they're doing stuff or think they are, and they can't get them, so they get them on taxes. So tell people you have this thing. I don't think you even have to have the conversation about how you're going to pay it, because most people's questions are going to be, can I pay you with Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, right? And then once they're there, once you have captured the audience, hey man, if you pay me cash, I'll give you a 10% discount. Hey, if we can do this in some other manner, you bring me gold or silver, or you pay me in Bitcoin through Lightning Node, I'll give you a 10% discount. And then that way, you're covered, right? Because if they're paying you in cash, if they're paying you in crypto, I am of the belief that you do not have to pay taxes on it until you convert to cash. I could be wrong on that. Talk to an accountant and an attorney. If you're even at the level that it's going to matter. Until you're making $1 million with that, it doesn't fucking matter, man. They're going to send you legal for a fee, right? They're going to send you a thing that you owe us this, and you're going to be like, I don't owe you that. I'll pay you this amount, and they'll most likely go, okay. I guess I've answered that as best I can. But when you're face to face, you can have a different conversation with them, right? But just tell them you have this thing. Tell them that but the problem you're going to have is the MMA gym has one of these, and that's where you're going to capture your clients from most likely. They're not going to come to your house. They're not going to. It's like a weird, hey bro, you want to come over to my house and sit in my leather chair? I could be wrong. But when dudes are like, hey, you want to come over to my place? No, I don't want to fucking, no. I'm good. I don't need to go to your house. So, I don't fucking know.
I would say...
What would you think if a dude's like, hey, you want to come see my leather couch? You'd be like...
Well, I mean, we've had plenty of people invite us over for weird things.
That's how I got you. I'm like, you want to see my leather couch?
Yeah. I would say make it as easy as possible for people to pay you. Talk about all the benefits that this chair brings to you. Let them know that you have a cool place for them to hang out, a TV, a Xbox, whatever. They can have a drink while they're there, whatever the case may be. Like, you really need to nail down who your clientele is going to be and cater to them. And then they are going to talk about it through word of mouth. Have a cool logo, make a cool Facebook page. Hey bro, I have this cool thing. Here's my Facebook page. You can see where people are talking about it. That kind of thing. Make it as easy as possible for people to give you money. I know you want cash because that's easy, or you think it's easy, but if you went out on the streets of a major city and asked 100 people how much cash they have, I bet you probably wouldn't get 10 people that had more than $5 or $10 on them, because people don't carry cash anymore.
Yeah, it's going away, no matter what we think about it.
So I know kind of what that is, like the compression chairs. Is there any use other than recovery for it? Like, would people use it to like relax or anything like that? I would think. So if there is a non-medical use for it, I might consider looking at like putting it in a barber shop or something like that. while these guys are waiting to get their haircut, they could try it out,
Chill.
And like maybe you can rent it to them, or maybe they charge you a fee to be in their barber. Like it's something that's not in your, and you don't want people coming over to your house anyways.
The way I see it is like around here, you have people that put up these sheds or like steel buildings. And then they put tanning salons in there. They put tanning booths. There's usually, and it's usually coincides with a chick who's a hairstylist, has a little place at her house, in her outbuilding. She's got a couple tanning salon, beds, and then they do the spray tan shit too.
Yeah.
So something like that. I don't know. I wouldn't, like, we have people all the time that want to come here. I don't want motherfuckers here. Like, the best thing we ever did was put gates in. Like, people used to just drive into town. There were so many Saturday or Sunday mornings we were leaving, and even now we're leaving and people are coming up the driveway. And I'll always stop. I'm like, "What are you looking for?" And if they are after a product, we'll go in. But if you're just here to, "Oh, I just wanted to come say hi," like, we don't open back up for that. But Monica Parks, I love the SRF, how we filled out the contact cards, but it made me wonder something. Could we take it a step further and have a community directory of some sort? I'd love to be able to purchase goods and services from within our community rather than finding it elsewhere. I, for one, am looking for someone that processes and sells pork and raw milk. An old school directory would be awesome. So I think that we totally could do that. We could even print it out and put it in our swag bags so that everybody that attends gets one. I'm sure that we could in some manner build a Facebook group or something.
That's what I was going
to
say.
But what's this fucking thing they put me in? Telegram. There is a Self-Reliance Festival Telegram. And I am literally removing myself from it. It is so fucking active. These are just the comments and most of it's just goobers going back and forth. I literally think all day long, I'm like, do these motherfuckers not have jobs? Like, what the fuck are these people doing? But it is very, very active. And if you just posed that question in there, I promise you there's somebody in there that's got you covered, Monica. But I'll actually give this to Nicole. I'm going to be surprised if she's not like, oh, we already have 4 things that do that.
She talked about that at the second SRF about a newsletter. I don't know if anything ever came of it.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah,
man.
she was talking, like, she had that whole presentation about networking.
Yeah, the underground networking.
Yeah.
That's her big thing last year. That was every time I saw her speak, that's what was, and she added to it every time, man. Blockade runner. Do you have 3-phase power on the compound? We do have 3-phase power on the compound. I have the transformers in place in the building. I have an electrical room. And I have the transformer on the pole for 3-phase. It comes into the corner of the garage to the electrical room. I do not currently have a meter in place.
Because we don't need it.
Crangaso. Yeah, I mean, we could run 3-phase here. Like, I'm sure at some point we will put some CNC equipment here somewhere, and we'll need 3-phase for that. You can set up a sewing shop on 3-phase and you pay way less in electricity, but then we have to set everything up on 3-phase. And everything we have is already 110. I do not intend to switch over to it. We just bought a laser, but even that thing is 110, the laser that we've got. And we're doing marketing and branding and stuff with it. Congrasso, what's your favorite part of SRF? My favorite part of SRF is this. It's just talking to people. Hey, can you show me this thing? Hey, can you do this, right? Hey, I love that. That's what I like about SRF. You notice that when I get up and talk, that is not really the crowd for me. Like the things I say on my video, we would lose half that crowd. So I get up and I really kind of throttle back when I'm on stage talking to people. So if you notice this last time, I spoke on stage much less. You want to have a real fucking conversation with me? We can have a real and I can have those conversations in a group of 5, 10, 15, 20 people. And you're going to get genuine 100% me. But if I talk to that crowd, we're gonna have people that they just won't come because I say fuck. I'm gonna have people crying, and I'm gonna hurt fucking feelings. So I just kind of throttle back. And you want those real raw conversations? I'm available for that. And it's not all that. I don't remember who it was. Some lady came here and she's like, I want some rabbits. I'm like, well, then stop fucking around and get some fucking rabbits. Like everybody, I probably gave her a little bit that had built up from the last 20 fucking idiots the last week talking about, I'm thinking about getting rabbits. Well, then get some fucking rabbits. I mean, you motherfuckers have kids you didn't plan on having. Why don't you fucking go get a rabbit? So, and I'm like, well, go buy some fucking, go get some cages at Tractor Supply. It's 15 minutes that way or 30 minutes that way. And I'll give you some rabbit. And she did. She fucking went and got cages. And she's like, I got cages. Can I have some rabbits? And I'm like, yes, I will give you some rabbits. So we're putting rabbits in the cages. And she's got like a little cat carrier for the mail. And she's like, okay, how much would you charge me for a fourth rabbit? I'm like, nothing. I'll just give them to you.
You
like,
get to go in and get it.
I kill fucking 6 rabbits every day. And then she's like, how much for... I go, okay, why don't you just tell me, in your perfect world, how many rabbits you're going home with? And she's like, I want 6. I'm like, okay, they're free. So I just love that shit. I love talking to people, because I was talking to... why can't I think of his...
Andrea?
No. Radio Made Easy.
Evan
Dixon. Why the fuck couldn't I think of Evan's name? We were standing... Literally, I was standing coming out of my work bay, and he was right there against the thing, maybe 2 SRFs ago. And he's like, so I think I'm going to start this side hustle or this side business. I'm like, what's it going to do? Like, what are you doing? And he told me, and I go, dude, that is a fucking really good idea. Like, that is a really good idea. And I'm like, but you won't fucking do it. He's like, no, I'm going to do it. I go, you motherfuckers never do it. And he did. That is what I like. I like that. That's probably one of the highlights of SRF for me, was seeing him come in with product, because he was here a couple weeks before, and they stood at one of our big work tables in the middle of the shop, and I watched him sell a bunch of product. And he had told me then, he's like, I had a ton of product for SRF. I sold everything that I had for SRF. So now he's to the point, he's taking all these pack outs. He's putting a rolling workbench together with him. I like that, man. I just like it, just you guys, seeing you people. Meeting Andrea Snow and meeting, what's the girl with 3 names?
Amy Lynn Jones.
Amy Lynn Jones. Meeting Amy Lynn Jones. Just meeting you guys.
She makes a great apple pie, by the way.
I ate all of that. Don't listen to this bitch. She's going to tell you she ate some apple pie. She got a little bit of apple pie.
I got a little bit.
I ate that whole fucking apple pie.
There was
2 of them.
There's 2 apple pies in the container.
I stood there with chocolate milk every night and ate, because I get really vascular when I eat carbs, so I can. It makes me look good in the mirror. Caleb Mays. John, thanks for opening up to questions again. A question for both you and Amanda is, what you are doing now is what are you? I think that's what are you doing now that you would like to be doing the rest of your life, or is it a means to end? So he's asking if we're doing what we're doing because if we want to do it. For example, to build up enough infrastructure and have enough resources to quit making gear and just homestead. Or do you both still like working? After I got out of school, I've worked as a mechanical engineer at a machine shop for 4 years and am now at an architectural firm. These jobs are stepping stones for me to eventually do what I really want to do. I'm learning every day, building connections, meeting people, saving up capital. What are your thoughts? I think that you should do whatever it is you want to do. And I think that sometimes what we start off wanting to do seems great and we didn't target high enough. And once we get higher in there, we don't have to do those things. And we're able to do things that we never even contemplated or thought was real for us. And then, a good example is my friend owns several companies. One of them, he's got a real estate holdings company with 22 Airbnbs in Montana. He's got a company making millions and millions of dollars every year. He's got a supplement company. He's got a clothing company. He's selling those companies because he has so much fucking money, and he is maneuvering with the amount of money now to where he can buy properties, start developing them, flip them, and reinvest into other properties in a 90-day period and not have to have any gains taxes on any of that stuff. And he's doing aircraft and airplanes and all kinds of big boy toy stuff with really big dudes that you guys would recognize from television. And I remember when he started his clothing company. I remember when he started his supplement company. he was very excited about it. And I remember seeing them making millions and millions of dollars every Black Friday. That's not shit to them now. Like, they do that all the time. Like, he's like, if he's not, I need $3,000 a day. I need to maintain 3,000 in sales, bare minimum every day. I want to see closer to 10,000. His is 50,000 a day. If he's not on 50,000 a day, we're having a meeting and we're fucking doing some promotional pushes and some different funnels on social media and stuff. Like, that's his bare minimum. There was a girl here that I got to hang out with for about 4 or 5 hours on the Friday at the Swales installation class, and she is a huge social media person. And she says, everybody's so busy chasing these, $5,000 deals, 5,000 here, 5,000 here, like we were talking earlier, right? If I can get 1,000 from Amazon a week and I can get 1,000 through affiliate link and different stuff, right? It adds up. And she's like, everybody's so busy chasing these $5,000 deals, but when you're chasing $100,000 deals, it's almost the same amount of effort. So if we only have so many hours in the day, why are we fucking with the little things? And it's the stepping stone. Would we change what we're doing? I mean, I don't know. If I woke up tomorrow and there was fucking $20 million in my bank account, would I keep doing this? I probably would. We would definitely do it a little bit differently. The real answer is I don't know what we would do. I like what we're doing.
I think we would probably travel a little bit more, but not much, because there's still, every day that we're out of the shop, it's 3 days that we have to make up on the other end.
But if you had $20 million, that wouldn't fucking matter anymore. Yeah, what we would do is we would probably completely turn off sales. We would build higher end, smaller amount product, and we would just put it up. So the website is still set on a lot of products. You can buy it even though we don't have it. For instance, almost anything under $100. But I mean, even that's changing. Like, most of our clothes bags are locked down right now. All of our vests, like, if you can buy it, we have it and can ship it. Every now and then somebody will order something we don't have. We typically build it really fast and they don't ever know we didn't have it. Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, we can talk about that all you want. The fact is, that's not what we're doing. We're doing what we want to do right now.
That's what I was going to say. I don't think you guys would change anything. Annie and I were having this conversation the other day because she's starting to get into the same people that you and I listen to. And she used to listen to, like, the fluffy self-help people, and she realized that's all bullshit. And she told me that in her eyes, you guys are the most successful anybody can be, because it doesn't have anything to do with money. Like, you're not Elon Musk, but you're doing exactly what you want to do every single day. And that's, in my opinion, too, that's success, And I don't think if you had more money, you'd be doing.
So if we came into some huge windfall of money, mm-hmm. I would probably knock some of the buildings down. I don't know that we wouldn't relocate. We would definitely keep this property. Mm-hmm. We would set up some bigger structures, taller buildings, probably 3-story buildings, definitely basement, sub-basement kind of shit.
Yeah.
And then maybe a little bit of dirt work. But I mean,
it's just bigger scale of what you're already doing.
I would attach, right. I'd buy the fucking gas station next door that he wants $2 million for. Mm-hmm. I would fucking have somebody come in and remove it. I would buy the next property. I'd buy a bunch of property. I don't care, like, if you have that money.
Yeah.
Like, what this isn't for sale. Well, how much for it? Because there's always a number.
Yeah,
everything.
I would connect and make us bigger, and then I would continue to do what we're doing. Right? I would hire some people to come in that are the best in their industry, and we would actually do market gardening. Right? We would have market gardening here, but I wouldn't have to market garden. I would have some dudes to come in to take care of livestock and animals that I wouldn't have to do, and then we could go and fuck around some. But what does our fucking around look like? It doesn't look like going to the Candler Hotel. We did that, right? Mm-hmm. Our fucking around looks like going to the hotel that closed down fucking 60 years ago and, in some creepy ass place. Like, that's what we like. I'm looking for, when we go to the antique stores and shit, I'm not looking to buy.
We're not buying China.
Yeah, I'm looking for, like, haunted, historic, like, crazy stories Why? So that we can do a fucking podcast. Like it's I'm always still back circular, right?
Yeah.
We'd start a podcast about haunted areas or fucking urban exploration or non-permissive environments and how everything has tunnels that you can get in.
I do, like,
and then we would do a podcast
Yeah.
and we'd blow the podcast up and we'd make $1 million selling $15 shirts.
I think so. That it just occurred to me that I think if you had extra time, you would be doing more stuff like that. I did a video where you're talking about how you wanted to be Laura Croft, and
I would definitely be fucking like Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Fucking like if you look at all the shit Hitler did, that's what they were doing. That's what we did. The first thing we did when we rolled into Iraq was hit their fucking museums.
Mm-hmm.
Napoleon found a ton of shit. Like fucking, that's just all through history, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be like National Treasure.
Yeah, that's. I would love to
a dude
do that.
or Batman, right? Some dude that has because, and what that comes down to again is legal for a fee. Rich people don't have to follow laws. 99% of fucking punishment for crimes is financial punishment. So if you have so much money, you just write the fucking check. None of that shit applies to you. It doesn't apply to you, and that's the difference.
Man, I'm talking about